Hi everyone, welcome to Sherpa Online. This is our third free lesson in as many weeks. Today's lesson is going to be taught by Daisy here, and it is going to be on English as a foreign language, present tense verbs. If you are looking to get tuition from Daisy, you can check out her links in the description of this Facebook video and also the YouTube video later on. Or alternatively, if you're looking for some tuition in maybe maths or physics, etc., make sure to check out Sherpa Online. You can speak to one of our expert or tutor experts, I should say, on 01628 337 590. But yeah, that's enough from me. And after take two, you again, Daisy.
Thanks, James. So yeah, my name's Daisy, and I'm going to teach EFL, English as a Foreign Language, today. If you are learning English as a foreign language, I will speak nice and slowly and clearly for you, and I encourage you to join in, repeat after me, practice your pronunciation, and I'll give you opportunities to speak the sentences as well and practice what you're learning. So I've switched to my other larger screen. So if I'm kind of looking up, that's why. My topic today is the present tense. So English has two, we could say there are more than two types of present tense, but the two we'll look at today are the simple present. And we use this to talk about facts, so things that are true. Habits and routines, so things that we do regularly, things that we do often in our lives, everyday lives. We also use the present continuous tense, another kind of present tense, and we use that to talk about actions in progress, things that are happening now at the present time. So, two types of present tense. Let's look at the simple present first. We use the simple present to talk about facts, so things that are always true or generally true. So, like the sky is blue, or I have blonde hair, for example. We also use the simple present to talk about habits and routines. So things that we do often, things that we do regularly, things that we do every day or every week. So let's take a look at some basics. The first one, the verb be. So the simple present, we have I am. I am. I've got subjects on the left here. So the subject I am. You are, we are, they are. She is, he is, it is. The verb be is irregular, so it doesn't follow any kind of regular pattern. We have lots of irregular verbs in English and lots of irregular verbs too. So you just have to learn the irregular verbs. But I really encourage you to learn this verb very well, the verb be. It's also important when we use the present continuous tense as well. The verb have, just to recap, if you already are familiar with these verbs, just review with me. You can practice your pronunciation. We've got subjects I have, you have, we have, they have. All use the have form of the verb. And then he, she, or it has. And we could also include any third person subject like my mom, my friend, my sister, Daisy, James, etc. So let's look at a couple more verbs. The verb play is regular. So subjects I, you, we, they play. And then the third person, she, he, it, my mom, my dad, my friend, my brother, Daisy, James, John, plays. So with regular verbs in the simple present tense, she, he, and it, we usually add S. That's the general rule. Okay, let's look at one more. The verb go. The verb go is an irregular verb. but it kind of follows some kind of pattern in the simple present tense. I, you, we, they go. And then she, he, it goes. So, for example, if we make a sentence, we could say, I go to school every day. That's an example of the simple present. We could say, she goes to the beach once a month, for example, the simple present. Okay, so now we've reviewed some verbs, some very, very common verbs. Let's look at the simple present and how we use it with facts. So to say things which are true, always true, or generally true. Okay, example 1, pandas eat bamboo. I've underlined the word eat because it's a verb in the simple present. So if you guys want to try it, pandas eat bamboo. Try and copy my pronunciation. Pandas eat bamboo. Another example, children go to school to learn. I've underlined go because it's a verb in the simple present tense. Copy me. Children go to school to learn. Okay, another example, fish live in the sea. Live is a verb in the simple present tense. Fish live in the sea. Doctors work in hospitals. Work is a verb in the simple present tense. You try doctors work in hospitals. And lastly, the teacher speaks English. Speaks is a verb in the simple present tense. And because it's the teacher, it's he, she, or it, we add S, speaks. The teacher speaks English. Okay, so we use the simple present to talk about facts. Another way we use the simple present is to talk about habits and routines. So things that we often do, usually do every day. Things that we do regularly in our lives. So when we talk about habits and routines, we often use adverbs of frequency. Adverbs of frequency answer the question, how often? So there are two main categories of adverbs of frequency. We have adverbs of indefinite frequency. These are more general, less specific. So, for example, I'll just read the list. You can read along with me. Always, usually, often. We can also say often or often. Both are okay. Sometimes, rarely, and never. There are more adverbs of indefinite frequency, but these are the most common ones. So we've got, if we say always is 100% of the time, then never would be 0% of the time. And they're on a sliding scale from 100% to 0% of the time. Okay, so those are adverbs of indefinite frequency. And then on the right, adverbs of definite frequency. These are more specific. So I'll just read the list. You can read along with me. Every week or weekly, the same. Every month, monthly. Every day or daily. Once a week, twice a month, 3 times a year, at weekends, etc. You could think of some other examples like twice a week or 5 times a year or on Saturdays, etc. Okay, I've sorted them into 2 categories, so purple and green, because we use them slightly differently. So adverbs of indefinite frequency go before the verb and object. So I'll read some examples. You can copy me. First, I always do my homework. Can you spot the verb in the simple present tense? It's do. So always goes before the verb. I always do my homework. You try. Okay, another example. She usually reads history books. Usually is an adverb of indefinite frequency. It goes before the verb. Can you see the verb? It's reads. Reads is a verb in the simple present. Next one, we sometimes ride our bikes to school. You try? So sometimes goes before the verb ride. We sometimes ride our bikes to school. Last one, which is actually untrue of my dog. My dog never chases cats. Never is an adverb of indefinite frequency. It goes before the verb chases. So you try. My dog never chases cats. Okay, let's take a look at these adverbs in the right-hand column. Adverbs of definite frequency go after the verb and object, so slightly different. Some examples. My dad cleans the kitchen daily. Okay, so cleans is the verb. Place the adverb after the verb and object. So we wouldn't say my dad daily cleans the kitchen. It doesn't sound right. My dad cleans the kitchen daily. You try. Okay, we go to the movies twice a month. What's the verb? Go. Go is the simple present. She goes swimming every weekend. The verb is goes, and it's goes because it's he, she, or it. She goes swimming every weekend. And finally, I brush my teeth twice a day. You try? So the adverb twice a day goes after the verb brush and the object my teeth. Okay, so that's a bit about verbs and adverbs. Adverbs of frequency answer the question, how often? So if we put this together and write some sentences or make some sentences, let's use adverbs of definite frequency to make some sentences with the simple present tense. So we circle 2 days a week. I'll write a sentence and you can read it with me. So let's say I go to the library twice a week. So Monday and Friday, twice. I go to the library twice a week. So we use the simple present go because it's a habit, it's a routine. Okay, can you make a sentence like that with twice a week? Have a try. Think of something. Okay, let's highlight every day now. So every day, we could say every day or daily, the same meaning. So, for example, I eat breakfast every day. Okay, I eat breakfast every day. You try? I eat is a verb in the simple present tense. It's a habit, it's a routine. So I eat breakfast every day. Can you make a sentence with every day? Try a different verb. Okay, I'm sure you've got some great ideas. Let's highlight Saturday and Sunday now. So Saturday and Sunday, it's the weekend. We could say at the weekend or at weekends. Let's make a new sentence. I visit my grandparents at weekends. You try? I visit my grandparents at weekends. At weekends, this tells us that it's every weekend, so every Saturday and Sunday. I visit my grandparents at weekends. Can you make a sentence with at weekends? Okay, I'm sure you're doing a great job. Let's practice using the simple present with adverbs of indefinite frequency. So I've made a sliding scale from 0 to 100%. So 100% of the time would be always, right? So remember that these kind of adverbs go before the verb and object. So let's make a sentence with always. I always eat breakfast before school. You try? I always eat breakfast before school. Okay. Let's go with 50% now. And 50% of the time, I would say sometimes is appropriate. Sometimes. So what do you do sometimes? I sometimes play tennis. Let's go with that. I sometimes play tennis. Okay, can you make a sentence with sometimes? Remember to use the simple present. Let's go with 0%, 0%. That goes with the adverb never. So if we make a sentence with never, maybe you can make your own sentence. Let's use a different subject. Let's use James. So James never, what does James never do? James never watches football. Don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, James never watches football. So you try. Can you make a sentence with never? Okay, you're doing great, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with me. Let's move on and let's try and talk about our day using these verbs and adverbs. So the simple present, adverbs of frequency, and let's describe our daily routine. So I've got a few pictures representing a typical day in someone's life. Let's make some sentences. So the first picture shows a woman, a girl getting up. So let's use the subject I. I get up at, let's use an adverb of time, at 7 o'clock. I get up at 7 o'clock. Okay, you could write your own sentence for your own daily routine. I get up at time. Okay, next picture shows a young boy eating breakfast. So can you make a sentence? Let's make a sentence with usually. So I usually eat breakfast. Okay. Let's move on to the next picture. Shows two girls going to school. They're ready for school. Let's say oops. Sorry, I'm going to write above this time. I always go to school on Mondays. I hope you can see this. I always go to school on Mondays. There we go. That's a good sentence using always. Okay, let's write a sentence. We've got two students, two school children eating lunch. So let's make a sentence with we this time, a different subject. We eat lunch at, can you give me a time? Think of a time. I'm going to go with midday. We eat lunch at midday. So 12 o'clock, midday. Okay, let's take a look at the next picture. We've got a boy watching TV. Let's use I. Let's use the adverb often. I often, what? I often, let's say I often watch TV after dinner. Okay, and last but not least, we've got a little girl in bed going to sleep. Can you make a sentence with I, with a suitable verb? Say, I go to bed at, I'll let you finish the sentence for yourself. I go to bed at, I'm going to say 9:30. We could say 9:30 or 9:30. Okay, so we've talked about a typical day in a person's life using the simple present, which is great. Now let's look at a different type of present tense, which is called the present continuous. The present continuous is different from the simple present. To make the present continuous, we need a subject first, a subject. So I, you, he, she, it, my mom, my dad, my friends, my teacher, etc. Subject. Plus the verb be. So I am, you are, we are, they are. He, she, or it is. And if we use the contracted forms, we could say I'm, I am, I'm. You are, you're. We are, we're. They are, they're. She is, she's. He is, he's. It is, it's. These are the contracted forms. We speak like this a lot. When we speak fast, we use contracted forms. And we need an ing verb. So we could say, for example, I am reading, or I'm reading, right? I'm reading a book, for example. We could say, we are dancing, or we're dancing. We're dancing. She is eating, or she is eating breakfast, for example. If we think of some other verbs, ing verbs, we could have playing. We could have learning. We could have speaking. There are many, many examples of ing verbs. Okay, so we use the present continuous to talk about things happening now. We can see it, we can hear it, we know it's happening right now at the present time. So we could say, I'm reading, or she's sleeping, right? We also use it for things that started in the past and are continuing and will continue in the future. So I'm working on a project, or I'm reading a good book at the moment. Things that are continuing and unfinished. Okay, so here are some examples. Subject, the verb be. We can use not to make it negative. An ing verb plus an adverb of time. With the present continuous, we don't use adverbs like usually, often, never, every day. We don't use those. We use these kind of adverbs. So now, right now, or at the moment. Like I'm reading right now, or I'm eating lunch at the moment. Yeah? Okay. So let's practice using the present continuous to describe these pictures. The first one, can you see it? There's a panda. Aw. And some bamboo, right? We know pandas eat bamboo. That's a fact. But what is the panda doing in this picture? We can say the panda is eating bamboo. Will you try? The panda is eating bamboo. The present continuous is this bit, is eating. The panda is eating bamboo. Okay, happy? Next picture, we can see a woman, a lady. We can see a book. So what is she doing? Use the present continuous. She is reading a book. She is reading a book. And if we say it fast, like in spoken English, you might say she's reading a book. You try. She's reading a book. Okay, great. Let's move on. So I see two people. Well, I see 4 or 5 people actually. No, 4 people, but 2 people on bikes. So let's talk about them. What are they doing? You can make a sentence. Let's say there. They are there. They're riding bikes in the city. That's a good sentence. They're riding bikes in the city. Okay. Just to highlight the present continuous is this bit. Are riding. That's the present continuous tense. We can see it in the picture. That's what's happening. Okay, let's do a couple more. What is she doing? I see a lady, a woman. The verb is brush. So let's say she's brushing she's brushing her teeth. She's brushing her teeth. The present continuous. Okay, well done, guys. Let's do a couple more. So what is he doing? Give you some time to think about it. He's watching TV, right? He's watching TV. He's. I see some children at school. What are they doing? They are studying would be very good. We could also say there, right? They are there. They're studying. They're studying. Okay. And let's do one more. Oh, two giraffes. What are they doing? They're drinking. They're drinking. And I'm going to have a drink as well. Okay, very good. So we've practiced the simple present. We've practiced the present continuous. Let's try some exercises. So choose the correct answer. You can choose either the simple present or the present continuous and think about why it's correct. Question 1, you choose. I usually walk to school, or I usually am walking to school. Which one is correct and why? If you said walk, you're right. I usually walk to school. Everyone, you try? I usually walk to school. We use the simple present because we have the adverb of frequency. Usually, we know it's a routine or a habit. I usually walk to school. Okay. Question 2. Dad watches TV right now, or Dad is watching TV right now. Which one? Watches or is watching? Okay, if you said is watching, you're correct. Dad is watching TV right now is correct. Why? Because right now, that means it's happening now at the moment. So Dad is watching TV right now. We use the present continuous. Question 3. Okay, you choose. We play football every weekend, or we are playing football every weekend. Which one? Play or are playing? If you said play, you are correct. We play football every weekend is correct. Why? Because every weekend is a routine, it's a habit. So, yeah, we play football every weekend is correct. Number 4, they always do their homework on time, or they always are doing their homework on time. Which one do you think? So if you said they always do, you are correct. It's the simple present tense because always is a habit. It's a routine. So we use the simple present, do. They always do their homework on time. How are we doing for time? Maybe we'll do a few more. So number 5, sharks. You know, like the big fish with the big teeth. Sharks have big teeth, or sharks have big teeth, or sharks are having big teeth. Which one? Have or are having? Okay, if you said have, you are correct. Sharks have big teeth. Why? Because it's a fact. It's usually true or generally true. Sharks have big teeth. It's just a fact. So I'm going to move on to the next activity. Maybe this one. You can correct the mistakes. We'll do a couple of these. So correct the mistakes. Have a look at the first sentence. It says, she reading a book. She reading a book. Can you see a mistake? Can you correct the mistake? I'll write the correct sentence below. It should be she's. She's reading a book. We need the verb be with the present continuous. She is. She's reading a book is correct. Okay, try question 2. Look for the mistake. It says, I'm am eating lunch now. Can you see a mistake? Mm-hmm. So it says I'm am. It should be one or the other. So we could say I'm eating lunch now. We don't need I'm am. I'm is I am. So I'm eating lunch now. Try number 3. We're playing football twice a week. We're playing football twice a week. What's wrong? What's the mistake? Well, it says twice a week, which is an adverb of frequency. So it's a routine, it's a habit. So we shouldn't use the present continuous, right? It should be we play football twice a week. So we use the simple present with habits and routines. We play football twice a week is correct. Let's try another 1 or 2 more. So number 4, they every Saturday go shopping. That is wrong. What's wrong? So it's this. This should be after the verb and object. So they go shopping every Saturday. Every Saturday is an adverb of definite frequency. So it goes after the verb and object. So they go shopping every Saturday is correct. Let's do one more from this page. So number 5 is be quiet. Shh, be quiet. Your sister sleeps. What's wrong with that? It's this. So if we say be quiet, it means now. Be quiet now. Your sister is sleeping, right? Because it's now at the moment. So be quiet. Your sister is sleeping. Use the present continuous for things happening now. Okay, you're doing great, everyone. Thanks for sticking with me. It's probably time to finish up soon. So let's do a quick review and see if you can see what you remember from today's session. So first question, what kind of present tense do we use for facts, habits, and routines? Think about that. Facts, habits, routines. Present simple, simple present, or present continuous? It's the simple present. If you said simple present, well done. You're doing great. Question 2, review actions in progress. Which kind of present tense? Actions in progress, things happening now? If you said the present continuous, you are right. Well done. Things happening right now at the moment. Present continuous. Question 3 of our review. How do we form the present continuous? Think about it. What do we need? Well, first we need a subject like I, you, he, she, it, we, or they. We need part of the verb be. So am, is, are. And then we need an ing verb. So for example, I am sleeping. She is reading. My dad is cooking, etc. Okay. And lastly, let's just review some adverbs of frequency. So adverbs of frequency after the answer the question, how often? How often do you go to school? How often do you read books? So let's just review some adverbs of indefinite frequency. So these go before the verb and object. So adverbs like always, usually. Can you think of more? Often, sometimes, rarely, never. These are adverbs of indefinite frequency. And they go before the verb and object. What about adverbs of definite frequency? Can you think of some? They go after the verb and object. So I'm thinking of like every day, every week, twice a month, once a year. We could have words like daily, weekly, monthly, etc. Okay, so I think that's pretty much the end of our session. It's been great to have you tuning in, listening, watching. I hope you've learned something. I will make this available so you can download the material, you can read it, and you can keep practicing the exercises. But thank you very much. James, if you want to come back.
Okay, I'm back. We that was brilliant. Well done. It's we've got a couple of questions here actually, if you wouldn't mind answering them.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So the first one is, let me just read it out. So for conversational English, how important is it to get these correct? So I'm assuming that they mean the present tense verbs. How important is it for just conversational English?
For conversational English, I think whichever type of present tense verb you use, you will probably be understood. So I don't think it will cause a communication problem if you use the wrong one. So I don't think it's super important, but if you want to improve your accuracy, if you want to sound more like a native English speaker, then try to remember these rules.
Okay, brilliant. The other two, they're not related to present tense verbs, but I think they're still quite good ones. So, in your opinion, what's the hardest part of the English language to teach?
The hardest part of the English language to teach. I don't know,
Yeah.
because I'm more thinking about the hardest part of the English language to learn. So I tend to see it from my students' point of view.
I mean, I
To
think answering that would
to
go down pretty well as well.
yeah, to teach or to learn. Maybe conditionals. So like the first conditional, the second and third conditional. So like if I had arrived on time, I would have seen the movie. Or yeah, those structures are quite difficult to master. But there are many difficult aspects of the English language. So that's just one off the top of my head.
Oh, brilliant. And the other is, are there any unique parts of the English language? So things that aren't really transferable in terms of, I don't know, maybe obviously he, she, and is quite transferable. But is there anything that's unique to the English language?
I would say that English has a lot of idioms which aren't directly translatable into other languages. One just, well, off the top of my head is kind of idiomatic, but off the top of my head, I've recently taught the idiom cold feet, like to get cold feet, to avoid doing something out of fear. So I got cold feet before doing the bungee jump, for example. You probably couldn't directly translate that into other languages, although other languages may have a similar expression. Yeah, idioms are kind of, every language has its own idioms, and English, many English idioms are unique to English.
Okay, brilliant. I don't think I'd ever get to a point where I'd get cold feet for a bungee jump. I don't think you'd ever see me anywhere near jumping off with a rope attached to me.
Nor me, James, nor me.
Okay, that was excellent. Thank you very much for that. So, just so everyone's watching, just so you know, the links to Daisy's profile, her show profile, is going to be in the link to in the YouTube description. It's also going to be in the Facebook comments of this video. So if you want to check her profile out and have some tutoring sessions with her on English as a foreign language, maybe you want to go into a bit more on present tense verbs, you can. So all of that is going to be detailed down below. If you're looking for a tutor in something else, make sure to check out sherpaonline.com or give one of our tutor experts a call on 01628 337 590. So that's all from us. I hope you enjoyed today's free lesson, and I'll let Daisy just say the last goodbyes.
Yeah, thank you very much, James. Thanks everyone who tuned in and submitted questions. I hope it's been helpful. And yeah, feel free to follow up if you want tuition with me or another tutor in a different subject.
Brilliant. Cheers, everyone. Bye.
Thanks.